What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast, Talking with Dudes, episode 169, the weekly Corp 4 news. And on today's episode, we got a boatload of MLB injuries to talk about. Plus, Auburn thinks they are now a football blue blood, and we got the Red Wings hanging up a legendary number. But first, let's head to the NFL. So we'll start this one off in the NFL. Yes, last week there was no episode. That is on me. Totally forgot to post and let you guys know about it. I was off helping out a really good friend of mine. I was out for the whole week. So this week we have weekly news, and we also got a recording for college football. Yes, college football starts this week. It is week 0. So I feel like it's okay to record while week 0 is going on, because week 1 is officially next week. We'll start off with the NFL today. Buffalo has signed James Cook to an extension, 4 years, $48 million. Hopefully it looks pretty good in the future. But right now, James Cook is a pretty solid running back, especially in Buffalo. I like that signing a lot. Cleveland and Indianapolis announced QB1s for week 1. Joe Flacco for the Browns and Daniel Jones for the Colts. I think two guys that a lot of people did not expect to be starters this upcoming season. Flacco, surprisingly, is definitely the best option in Cleveland. For Indianapolis, it's between Anthony Richardson and Jones. Jones seemed to be the one to squeak out the last couple of weeks, and I don't really think Richardson in Indianapolis are going to end well. I could see him probably getting moved this season, so we'll see how that goes. Packers quarterback Jordan Love tore a ligament in his left thumb, obviously not his throwing hand, is expected to be ready for the regular season. So if you got that fantasy draft coming up and you want to pick Love, I would still say you're probably pretty good picking up Jordan Love. So keep an eye out on that for draft boards. And the last thing, the Chicago Bears will be wearing a jersey patch for the rest of the season to honor Virginia Hallis McCasey, the daughter of George Hallis and the Chicago Bears principal owner. She passed away recently. They'll be wearing a patch on their jersey for the rest of the season. All right, let's head to the MLB now. We'll start off with the TV rights that are potentially coming down this upcoming season, if not next season. Apple TV is supposedly fully out. No more Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV, which I think is a great move. I think Apple TV liked it. I think a lot of people actually didn't mind the broadcast team of Apple TV, but I just think it was a hard subscription to pay for. I mean, I was not going to pay for Apple TV just to watch one game a week. I'd rather just miss my favorite team playing that Friday instead of paying the subscription for one game. I don't think that was a really good move in the end there. And I think Apple TV also saw that too, is probably not a big moneymaker compared to some of the other stuff that they have to offer there. NBC and Peacock, they're obviously the same company, are supposedly in for the Friday Night Baseball. Also, Sunday night exclusive games, which is probably the Sunday Night Baseball games as well. Plus, also playoffs. They look like they're going to try to get into wild card games as well. I don't know if NBC has done baseball before. They have. It was before my time. So I think it's actually a pretty solid move, especially because ESPN is pretty much out on the MLB stuff. I think NBC would be a pretty good broadcast team to do something like that. MLB TV is supposedly being sold to ESPN, so that's an interesting move as well. Supposedly a lot of money being moved around to get MLB TV to go to the ESPN rights. Not too sure how that's going to work when it comes to subscriptions, if it's going to go through ESPN, if they're going to keep it separate like MLB TV is now. Not too sure, but that's something to note. And supposedly Netflix will be trying to get the Home Run Derby for the All-Star games. Again, I don't think the Derby's all that special, but if Netflix is getting it, it's just another thing that they're trying to get into when it comes to sports. So that's interesting to note there. But those are a couple of TV deals that might be going down pretty soon and being confirmed, I would say, within the next couple of weeks. But obviously, all this is speculation. Now let's get into roster movements. DFA'd Nate Lowe lost a job after hitting a game-winning home run the day before with the Nationals. He was DFA'd. Then he signed a contract 2 days later with the Boston Red Sox. So I think Nate Lowe going to Boston, pretty nice pickup there. Kind of surprised that he got DFA'd by the Nats, especially coming off that great game where he hit that game-winning home run for the Nationals. Now we hit into injury news. We got a lot of injuries, unfortunately. San Diego's Michael King's on the IL with left knee inflammation. Cincinnati's Chase Burns is on the IL with a grade 1 right flexor strain. Houston, another injury for them. They're up to like 18 injuries total right now. Josh Hader this time. He'll go on the IL for about 3 weeks with the left shoulder capsule sprain. Initially, they said just soreness. Turns out he'll be out 3 weeks. LA's Max Muncy going back on the IL with a grade 1 oblique strain. He just came off the IL too, so that's tough news for the Dodgers and Max Muncy. Philadelphia's newly acquired closer Johan Duran was carted off the field the other night after taking a line drive to the foot. Timeline is unknown. Also, Philadelphia announced that Zach Wheeler will be on the IL with blood clotting that happened to be near his shoulder, his throwing shoulder as well. So that don't know what the timeline is for that as well, but tough news for the Phillies. Miami's Kyle Stowers will be out several weeks with a grade 1 left side strain. Boston's Marcelo Myers underwent season-ending surgery on his wrist. Baltimore's Felix Bautista also had season-ending surgery, this to repair his torn labrum and rotator cuff. Should be out a total of 12 months. Heading into better news now, Toronto announced that Shane Bieber most likely will be making his season debut with the Blue Jays on Friday versus his old team, the Cleveland Guardians. So that will be an interesting matchup for Bieber there. He hasn't pitched since 2024 after getting Tommy John surgery. The Angels, Zach Neto, joins the 2020 club. He's the 4th player in Angel history to do so, joining Ohtani, Trout, and Don Baylor. Neto is one of the star shortstops, I think, in the league. This isn't coming just from an Angel fan. I think just what he does overall is actually really impressive. So Zach Neto, 2020 club. Let's see if he gets to the 30-30 club before the end of the season. Other milestone to note, San Francisco Giants, Justin Verlander joins the 3,500K list. There's 10 people on this list. So congrats to Verlander. Not a lot of seasons left in him, but 3,500 Ks. Pretty impressive there. And the last thing to talk about is coming from the commissioner, Rob Manfred. He is claiming that they are looking into expansion and realignment for the league. This is crazy. I mean, MLB is one of those leagues that doesn't like change, doesn't like anything new. All the changes that I think Manfred has made the last couple of seasons actually has been better for the league. I think quicker games has been a big plus, even though a lot of people did not like that look in the beginning. I think Manfred getting into expansion teams like Charlotte, Portland, Nashville, I think those are the top 3 right now that he has talked about publicly about maybe making a move, having an MLB team there. I think all of those are actually really solid places. The alignment thing, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to keep the American League, National League? Are they just going to go to East-West? Are they going to go to 2 different named of leagues? I think that will be the big stick in the mud when it comes to diehard and old-time MLB fans. Personally, for me, I think alignment is really actually a cool idea. I like the geographical alignment, East-West. I think having teams like the New York teams going up against each other all the time, the Florida teams going up against each other, the Chicago teams, the LA teams, even if you just look at the California teams in general, if you put all those guys in a division, you got the Giants, the Dodgers, the Angels, the Padres, those 4 teams right there, that'd be a lot of fun to watch as divisional opponents. Geographic, really, really cool idea. So I think it's going to be a good situation there. I just don't know how they're going to realign it. Plus, you can't make the alignments before, I think, the expansion teams. So if they go up to 32 teams, you don't want to make these divisions. And then all of a sudden you had 2 more extra teams. It messes up how you make the divisions. So I think you got to wait till you get expansion in there, unless you do the alignment and you don't expect expansion for the next 6+ years at that point. So they're going to have to fidget with that. But I do like the announcement of potential new realignments of the divisions and conferences. So definitely worth noting there. All right, let's head to the cleanup now. We'll start off in college football. Yes, it's going to be a big cleanup because I did not want to make college football a full section because this is the Core 4 weekly news. This actually will probably be the last week of just Core 4. Sounds like since college is starting back up, college football will have enough to talk about next week. So I will make a college weekly episode. So this will be the last week that college football will be included with the Core 4. So let's start off with Auburn. As I mentioned at the top of the show, they now think that they're football blue bloods. They have gone out and claimed 4 national championships for their football program: 1910, 1914, 1958, and 2004. Now, none of those are recognized by the NCAA as Auburn's national championship, and they honestly don't have a valid stake at really any of these besides maybe 2004. In 1910, they were 6-1. Pitt was recognized as the number one there. 1914, they went 8-0-1. Army was recognized as the national championship there. 1958, they were 9-0-1. They finished 4th in the AP polls, but LSU was recognized as the national champion. And in 2004, they went 13-0. They finished 2nd in the AP poll, but USC was recognized as the number one. But there was a lot of controversy with USC, with Reggie Bush and things like that. So that one's the only one I could see as maybe, yes, you could kind of stake that as a potential national champion, but I still don't think so because USC did play in the national championship game against Oklahoma. They won that one. I still recognize that as USC's championship. Even if they vacate it or whatever, I still think that it's not valid as claiming that as your national champion. The school only has 2, 1957 and 2010, and they're talking about claiming 3 more, 1913, 1983, and 1993. 2 of those, they did pretty well, 8-0, but Harvard was recognized as the win in 1913. In 83, went 11-1, finished 3rd, but Miami was recognized as they did play in the national championship that year. 1993 is the only one that I think sucks, bad timing. They went 11-0, but they were banned from the postseason in that year due to some infractions by paying 2 high school athletes probably to recruit. So that was the only season that I probably would look at and be like, that's tough luck there, but you pay the price when you're paying athletes there. This is a quote from the university themselves. They said, "For too long, Auburn has chosen a humble approach to our program's storied history. Starting this fall, we have made the decision to honor in the accomplishments of our deserved student athletes, coaches, teams, and Auburn's proud history." Again, I don't think any of these should be recognized as national champions. It's pretty bad to see that they want to claim some of those, especially because they were not the best team in really any of those seasons at all. But in some other news coming out of the university, they also announced that Cam Newton's number 2 will be retired this upcoming season. I think that's probably the best news that they came out this whole week because those 4 national champions, quote unquote, there are awful that they claim those. And the 3 that they potentially are going to claim, that's also bad too. So I do not want to see Auburn claim those, and they would potentially be up to 9 national championships at that point. I think that's pretty bad in my opinion. But talking about worst claimed national champions, there's a couple other ones that I did not recognize that they were that bad claimed, but they are pretty bad. We got a couple to note here. 1941, Alabama. They finished 9-2, finished 20th in the AP poll. They were shut out by Mississippi State and Vanderbilt that season, yet they claim a national champion. 1973, also Alabama. They finished 11-1 that year, finished 4th in the AP poll, but lost 24-23 in the national championship game to Notre Dame, and yet they still claimed a national championship. Interesting. You lose the national championship game, yet you claim the national championship. Interesting choice there. 2 of those coming from Alabama, so definitely an exclamation point on why the hell are you doing that. 1940, Tennessee, they finished 10-1, finished 4th in the AP poll, lost their bowl game to number 5 Boston College 19-13. Minnesota finished number 1 and went undefeated that year, was recognized as a national championship in 1940. So Tennessee, what are you doing there? You lost your last game. Yeah, you finished 4th, but a team went undefeated, did better than you. Don't think you deserve a national championship there. 1967, also Tennessee, 9-2 finish. They finished 2nd, though, in the AP poll. Lost the bowl game to number 3 Oklahoma, 26-24. USC finished number 1 that year, yet Tennessee decides they want to claim as the national championship. 1970, Texas, they went 10-1, finished 3rd in the AP poll, lost their last bowl game to number 6 Notre Dame, 24-11. Nebraska went 11-0-1, beat number 5 LSU in their bowl game, finished number 1 in the AP poll, yet Texas has claimed that one as their national championship, even though Nebraska was recognized as the national championship. Also, that same year, Ohio State went 9-1, finished 5th in the AP poll, worse than Texas. Lost their bowl game to number 12 Stanford 27-17, yet they still claim a national championship. That's the worst of the two 1970s, and yet they claim a national championship. Texas claims a national championship, yet Nebraska went undefeated with the tie and finished number 1 in the season poll to end the year. Don't know how that's possible. I just don't understand why some of these powerhouse teams are claiming national championships. So it really makes me wonder who else has done this, and how bad are some of these claimed national championships, where there are teams like Oregon that has 0, has had some really good seasons, and yet have never claimed a national championship. Really does put in perspective on some of these programs out in the U.S. there. But I digress. We'll move on to some other college football news. College football red zone seems to be on the horizon. That's going to be associated with ESPN, but it does sound like that Fox Sports will not be giving out the licensing rights to the Big 10 and Big 12 games that will be on their Fox stations to ESPN for that, giving me the idea that red zone should not happen when it comes to college football. I don't want to see all ESPN games on this red zone, and for it to be a SEC game that is probably going to be lopsided. One SEC game that's probably going to be pretty solid, and then 2 other teams are going to be like ACC game that I don't care about, and maybe some non-Power 4 conference game that I do not care about. So I don't think this is going to work. So I hope they don't do it, but it's all going to be for money probably, so ESPN will probably get it done. But I'm happy that Fox said, nope, not doing that, because I care about the Big 12 and the Big 10 more than I care about red zone. So we'll move on. Michigan announced that, or they were fined. The NCAA announced that Michigan will be fined $20 million for their NCAA infraction rulings from the last couple seasons. They will not be getting a postseason suspension or ban, because they said that a lot of the coaching staff and players that were involved in that are not currently on the team anymore. So there's no reason to punish the team now for it. I guess that's okay with me. They also said that they will be losing postseason revenue for the next 2 seasons. Last thing, Sharon Moore, head coach, will be given a game suspension in not this season, but the following season, 2026, because of his involvement with that. So that'll be something to note there. Another rule change from the Big 12. Texas Tech fan tradition of throwing the tortillas on the field could be in jeopardy here because of this new ruling that was voted 15-1 that will now solidify a penalty flag will be thrown for objects being thrown on the playing surface. Again, I don't know how this isn't a flag in any conference, but I guess the Big 12 is just going to be pushing it a little bit harder. Supposedly, the policy will happen on the 3rd incident, so I guess we're going to have at least 2 kickoffs for Texas Tech that tortillas could be thrown onto the opening kickoff field. So probably first quarter, halftime, I'm going to guess is going to be okay. But if it happens a 3rd time, a penalty may be the result. Again, don't know how that even really matters at that point, because they're still going to do it. So just something to note there. Tennessee announced that they'll be moving from Nike to Adidas all the way up to 2036. And DBU announced that they will be joining the Pac-12 as a baseball-only school starting in 2026. DBU is currently in the Conference USA, and they are one of the few teams to have a very successful baseball program currently right now. They have reached the NCAA tournament 11 straight seasons. They're one of 5 schools to do that. The other schools being Florida, LSU, Oklahoma State, and Vanderbilt. So the Pac-12 adding a very good baseball school there. So you got Oregon State and DBU in there. We could be seeing a good revive of the Pac-12 when it comes to the baseball teams. Heading over to basketball, the NHL owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, Tom Dundon, has officially bought the Portland Trailblazers for over $4 billion. Congrats to Portland getting a new owner. Hopefully this means better success in the future seasons. So we'll see how that transpires for the new owner of the Portland Trail Blazers. When then we got some announcements of a retirement. John Wall, five-time All-Star in the NBA, will be retiring from basketball. He announced the other day on his social media account. And the Chicago Bulls announced that they'll be retiring Derrick Rose's number 1 on January 24th this upcoming season. He played 406 games with the Bulls, averaged 19.6 points, 6.2 assists, and 3.7 rebounds. Won Rookie of the Year in 2009 and the MVP in 2011. So Rose, when I think of him, I definitely think of him as a Bull. And I just really honestly think of what his career could have been if injuries did not hit him as hard. So I think it's a well-deserved jersey retirement, though, for Derrick Rose. The English Premier League has gotten underway, and newcomers Sunderland and Leeds started off strong with wins. Sunderland beating West Ham 3-0, and Leeds beating Everton 1-0. So I don't know what to expect between these two teams. I think Sunderland is probably going to be a little bit better than Leeds, but statistically, any team that gets promoted most likely will get relegated the upcoming season. So hopefully these two teams avoid that. But statistics are not on their side. History is not on their side. So hopefully those two teams are able to get out of the rut and continue on with the success. But regardless, a very good start for both teams, starting 1-0 on the season. The Ryder Cup automatic bids are here. Scotty Scheffler, JP Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, and Harris English all getting the automatic bids to the Ryder Cup for Team USA. Heading to the NHL, Detroit Red Wings announced that they'll be retiring Sergei Fedorov's number 91 on January 12th against the Carolina Hurricanes. He played 13 seasons with the Wings. 400 goals, 954 points, and 908 games played. 3 Stanley Cups with the Wings, a Hart Trophy, and 2 Selkies added to his name while wearing the Red Wings crest. I think this is well-deserved. I think it's a long time coming. I think Fedorov definitely deserves his number in the rafters for the Wings. So we'll see that go up on January 12th. Tampa Bay announced that they are changing their arena name to Benchmark International Arena. They did not say how long the terms of the new contract for the arena name is going to be, but they did say multi-year. Obviously, everybody kind of expects that. So we got Benchmark International Arena instead of Emily Arena for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Carolina Hurricanes announced they have hired a new player development coach, Jesper Fast. Fast just recently retired from the game, recently played for the Hurricanes, so he's coming back, but he's going to be a player development coach now. And the last thing, Colorado announced that they have signed defenseman Victor Olofsson to 1 year, $1.5 million for the upcoming season. Pretty solid signing. Kind of surprised Olofsson was not signed earlier, but maybe he was just holding out for a better contract. Colorado has picked him up. I think it's a very good depth pickup for the Avs. All right, now let's head to the games of the weekend. We'll start off with the MLB, the Padres and the Dodgers. 3-game set, once again, back-to-back weekends between these two teams. This is for tops in the NL West. Dodgers kind of struggling, but looked really good against the Padres. Padres looking really good, but struggled against the Dodgers. Not too sure what to expect. Really good 3-game set there. College football is back this week. It is week 0, so not a lot of good games to watch, but 9 a.m. on ESPN on Saturday. Number 22, Iowa State versus number 17, Kansas State. That's going to be a Big 12 matchup. Top 25 matchup to start off the year. Really good game. Really excited to watch that one. English Premier League, we got Arsenal versus Leeds. That's Saturday at 9:30 a.m. on NBC. MLS, I got San Diego versus Portland. That is on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And lastly, from the racing world, we only got NASCAR this weekend. Daytona International Speedway, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on NBC. All right, guys, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. 169 episodes in the books. We appreciate you guys so much. Sorry for no episode last week, but this week you got this one, and you get the recording of college football. So you get 2 episodes next week, potentially 3 episodes if I'm able to find all that time for that. So make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and that bell icon so you guys are notified when those episodes do drop. We appreciate you guys so much. Have an awesome weekend. Watch some college football. We'll see you guys next week.